Alright, greetings everyone, this is RoninMac here, and we're back with some more Batman Arkham Origins. Initially I wanted to do all of my Let's Plays for this game sort of alive. As I'm playing kind of PIP thing, but my plans were thwarted by this particular fight with Deathstroke. Sort of an interesting new feature of the game. It's sort of a one-on-one fight with a supervillain, or in his case, he's a paid assassin who's supposed to kill Batman. And it worked out well. I like the style, but this fight was really hard. I had to do it like 14 or 15 times. And it got very aggravating. I couldn't do a live play PIP thing just because I had to restart it so many times. It would have been like a 3-hour video, and I'm sure that would bore most of you to tears. But as you can see, there's lots of striking and countering and stuff going on here. I've learned quite a few tricks as to how to fight Deathstroke. He's some kind of genetically enhanced super soldier, and he took out the contract on Batman didn't fight him after getting into the Penguin's stronghold. He just kind of showed up, and this fight ensued, which is all well and good, but I think this one was a little too tough. I like challenging, but I don't like nearly impossible. And in this instance, we're going to get into a very aggravating glitch in this game. Because in this instance, I was about to win. Or at least I think I was about to win. I was pretty full on health. I had most of the patterns and fight sequences broken down. You can see there's basically 3 stages to this fight. First you break his mask, then you break his staff, and then you have to fight him with a sword. And once you get past that part, then it's the final cutscene. And I was doing pretty well in this instance. I learned to use my bat claw to pull him towards me from a distance when I was far away, and it tends to work pretty well. It does a little damage, pushes the fight on. Then he vanished into thin air, and yes, Deathstroke was gone. I walked around there looking for him for hours, and then eventually I had to start to fight him 3 more times and lose. And finally, I was able to well, get this little victory scene between Batman and Deathstroke. So, yeah, this boss fight, if you will, was a little too tough for my tastes. Like I said, I like a challenge, but I don't like so impossible that you have to do it 15 or 20 times. Even when my strategy, I think, was pretty sound. But I did win in the end, so it's not all bad. Let's see, there's the Penguin. And Tiffany and Candy, I think, are his assistants, both of who have nice posteriors. I don't know if the butt slap gets by the sexual harassment suits of modern day. Yeah, but then you get this gadget which you collect from his dead body. Comes in handy a little later on. Then once you leave the Penguin's lair, which is on this container ship in the harbor of Gotham City, got this anarchy cat who, well, if you want to listen, you can listen, or just read the words. I put the subtitles up there. He plants 3 bombs. You have to go disarm them. I've only done this one so far.
I believe in choice.
But we'll let you.
I offer you one. Let them detonate or stop them. Your actions will determine what I do with you. Hey, mister, over here. I've planted 3 bombs where Gotham's
So you go talk to
corruption
this
is
guy,
at
he
its
tells you where the bomb
But unlike
is,
those
and
I fight to
then
overthrow.
it's similar to
Whoa, easy now. I ain't looking for a fight. Got a
Arkham
message, that's all.
City,
Anarchy
in
says
that
if you're gonna make
you have a time
withdrawal,
limit
you
to
better do
reach
it
where the
soon.
bomb site
Actions will
is,
determine what I do with you.
fight the goons there, and disarm the bomb. It's sort of a side quest mission thing in the game, which is fun. You can see the Origins map is quite a bit larger than it was in Arkham City. You see a lot of the same landmarks, but I think, as I said earlier, this is a prequel, so it takes place in earlier times, so this is all old Gotham here. It hasn't been made into the crazy harebrained scheme of Arkham City. I'm just going to ignore these guys because Batman has a bomb to defuse and let's get moving. Then you can see the World of Wonder science exhibit here, which features in the Arkham City game. Batman failed there, but we'll get there in time. Don't worry about it. Sometimes this map can be a little aggravating because it's so large. There's fast travel points, but I think we'll get to that at a later date, just because, well, I've had some issues with that as well. The gameplay mechanics are pretty much identical to Arkham City, which is good because they're fun. The game played pretty well. I think the graphics programming is actually a little better in this game because higher settings run. They seem to run quite a bit smoother than they did in Arkham City. And the game looks nice. As I said, it plays pretty much the same as the last installments, which is nice because the combat system is complex enough to be interesting, and yet simple enough to be fun to play with. Now we're approaching our bomb site, so we're going to have to beat up these thugs and then defuse the bomb. And I guess that's how all of these go. I'm sure the fights get more complex as you go along. I'm getting a little better with the fight system just with practice, obviously. You have to know when to counter and when to strike, and make Batman jump around like a hyperactive kitten or whatever it was someone said. I don't know. Yeah, so the bomb's defused. Batman's going to call Alfred, give him an update.
So I saw. This anarchy fellow mentioned 3 bombs, which means 2 still remain.
I need to find them.
I've no doubt you will,
So
sir.
of course he will, but yeah, we're going to get back to the main storyline stuff here. There is a crime scene because apparently Black Mask got killed, and the police think Penguin killed him, but
On the balcony for a smoke.
Penguin's the one that tipped me off to this, so I don't think he was involved.
Those men on the balcony.
Could be somebody
that could
else.
Be my way in.
What a shutcase. Penguin murdered Black Mask and his lady friend. I mean, we found the bastard's stubby little fingerprints right by the bodies. Yeah, we got Penguin now. Like to see him squirm.
But I gotta sneak into the crime scene so Batman can properly investigate it, because the Gotham Police Department's pretty well corrupted, especially the SWAT team guys, it seems like, but we can't trust their judgment because they're paid off by the crime lords, so. I'm gonna jump into Lacey Towers here and check out the crime scene and do a little Batman style investigation. And I think the crime scene investigation stuff's done a little better in this version than it was in Arkham City. It's still pretty linear as far as what you can do, but makes it a little more interesting. And there are side crime investigation missions that you can do, which aren't part of the main storyline, which I think was a good add, but I don't know, we'll see what he finds out here in the safe house, the Black Mask.
The police believe Penguin murdered Black Mask, but why would he send me here
That's
if
what I
he was
said.
the killer? It doesn't add up.
Basically, you look around and scan stuff, and then there's some more interesting stuff where you
This
have
crime
to
took
fast
place
forward
days
and
ago.
rewind through
The fire and the exposure to the elements
back
make identifying the
computer
victims
reenactments.
difficult. The male victim is wearing a black mask, but I can't positively identify him as Roman Sionis without a DNA analysis. Something I can't do in the field.
That's kind of disturbing.
I can identify the female victim based on her fingerprints. Tiffany Ambrose, Roman Sionis' girlfriend, or one of them at least. She was no angel, long list of priors, but nothing to indicate she was the target here.
She was a unintended target then, at least.
The fire spread as a result of a Molotov cocktail thrown into the room. It may have been intended to destroy evidence.
Which it mostly did, apparently.
The shallow trajectory of the bullet suggests the shooter could be someone of Penguin's height. But the grooves on the floor suggest that the victim was killed by someone leaning back in a chair. This bullet was fired from a revolver. Ballistics analysis indicates a low angle of trajectory. The shooter could have been someone of Penguin's height, but the pattern in the gunpowder residue suggests the bullet was actually fired by someone lying on the ground.
Batman knows everything. He is really smart. You can see the white border there. I'm assuming that's the limits of the crime scene. And this is one of the larger ones I've
These
encountered so
fingerprints
far.
are a match for the Penguin, but they're on top of the soot from the fire. The cops were right. Penguin was in the room, but these prints prove he was here after the murders were committed. If he didn't kill Black Mask, who did? The only thing I know for certain is that Tiffany's shooter was lying on the floor. But why? These white streaks are shoe polish.
White
Whoever
shoe
shot
polish?
Tiffany was being dragged along the floor. Besides the victims, there were 2 other people in the room. Tiffany's shooter, and whoever was dragging the shooter. The location from which the male victim was shot may tell me more.
Look to your left, you idiot. It's right there.
The DNA here doesn't belong to either of the victims. Whose is it? The fight broke out when someone startled the shooter. It's not clear who won the fight. It could have been either one of them. I should review the evidence to see if I can learn anything more about either the intruder or the shooter.
And they make you do this a lot when you're doing the crime scene stuff. You have to follow these red trails to find supplemental evidence. Sometimes it's clear what you're supposed to be looking at, and sometimes it's not. But turns out there's some fabric on the doorway there.
Fabric analysis indicates the intruder was wearing a white suit or sport jacket. This fabric swatch could help identify the intruder, but I still can't identify the male victim's shooter. There's one impact area I haven't checked for clues.
And that's over there in the kitchen.
This DNA is from the female victim. The level of oxidation suggests it's been here for several days. If I review the evidence, I may be able to find out what she was doing when she was attacked.
Cooking meth? I don't know. And again, you got to fast forward and rewind enough to pick up the evidence there. But these scenes don't happen often enough to be annoying. Keep them infrequent enough to keep it pretty interesting.
She was sending text messages to Roman Sionis about someone named the Joker.
Crap. The Joker.
Someone killed Black Mask, but this crime took place several days ago, and I saw Black Mask earlier tonight. The only answers I have raise more questions. Who is
So we can
Joker?
assume the Black Mask isn't
Was he
dead,
the
but it
killer
was
here? Or is he one of the assassins?
a decoy that got killed.
I have a body, an unknown shooter, and an unknown assailant who attacked the shooter. I need to match the DNA samples against the records in the National Criminal Database to identify who was in the
Yeah,
room.
that's going to turn out to be a fiasco also.
Alfred, I need access to the National Criminal Database.
Well, the only way to do that would be to infiltrate the Gotham City Police Department.
Then that's where I'm going.
Sir, you'd need to physically hack into their servers. If you insist on doing something that foolish, you'll need a powerful, non-lethal weapon. I recommend coming back here to pick up your concussion detonator.
Not a bad idea.
That's another good part of this game is you get to travel back and forth to the Batcave, do some training, resupply, and, you know, just take a breather, play with the Batcomputer. It's all very exciting. And as always in these Arkham games, there's always hidden drops all over the place, so it pays to explore all the scenery. And there's Enigma side quests on this one as well, which we'll get into later because there's another Batman Origins glitch that takes place. Kind of aggravating, but it's not exactly secret news at this point because I actually had to Google that one. I was so stuck, and it wasn't me being stupid, it was just a glitch. So that's going to do it for this installment of Batman Arkham Origins, and then hopefully next time I can jump in and do some live play stuff, but we'll see at that point what happens. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later. Bye.